thinking after that Sunday service.
We know, mate.
Keep meaning to ask you, what's the music that you play that's like the Arabic flute music?
Oh,
I really would
people
love a copy of that.
Yeah. Was it used literally?
Because every single time I've gone away and gone, I didn't ask it. Ready? I'm ready. You ready?
No, I'm not ready inside.
Well, it's one of us.
Yeah. Carry on with that. They don't want to stop talking.
No,
Just sit
that's
back down again. Good morning, everybody! Happy New Year! Don't forget, you know what you all got for the new year? 365 opportunities to start afresh.
Oh.
So make the most of each and every one of them. My goodness, what a wonderful, wonderful attendance this morning. Thank you so much for electing to be here today. I know it's got nothing to do with this guy. You're all here to see me, isn't it? Just bolster me, bolster me. Welcome to our Sunday morning divine service. Big warm welcome too to those watching us at home. Please be aware we are having electrical problems in the area today. We've got this massive generator supporting the area. If the feed cuts out, we will endeavour to get back online, but it's just beyond our control. Anyway, we are here together. Do you know what? You've not come here to watch us today. If anything, Mark and myself are here to work with and build upon the energies that each and every one of you have brought into this church this day. You are the integral part. You are the reason we're here. So celebrate that, enjoy that, and bring those energies, that love, that compassion, that healing together, and bring this church into that beacon of light which we know it is. So thank you. I'm gratefully indebted to each and every one of you. I don't know where that came from.
It's all right, you've just given them my address, but that's all right, you carry on. Thought well tuned in, Lachlan.
So, without further ado, I will invite Mark now for the opening blessing.
Lovely.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Lauren. So everyone, if we can just for a moment close our eyes, but open our hearts and minds in that space, in that intention, in that love that we call prayer. Gracious and divine Spirit, as we join together this morning, allow us to step aside from the hectic nature of everyday life and enter into the peace, the love, the healing power of this moment, of this place, of this time. Allow us in these moments, as we all blend together, to build a light and a power that is not only healing for others, but is healing for ourselves. Allow us in these moments to think of the needs of humanity, to think of bringing peace into this world, to bring hope where there seems to be hopelessness. Allow us to bring the strength and the courage and the compassion to face life and its trials. Allow us in these moments to not only be mindful of our own loved ones in the other world, but also of those who work with us, those who are our inspirers, our helpers, those who are our unseen companions. And let us draw them close into this space with us, wherever we are, to know that their love, their strength and their support is here not just only for us as individuals, but for all of the world, for all people. Allow us to be the instrument of the spirit world, the channel for healing and for peace. Allow us to shed that light into the world. Allow us to be of service in this way, in this moment and this time. And know that as we send out our love for others, that there is love surrounding each and every one of us. And that in the giving of this love, we also receive. And so, as always, we place ourselves and our service in your care and keeping for this hour to come, knowing that all that is said and done is said and done in the truth, the love, and the light of Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mark. Beautiful. Begin with saying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thine will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And leave us not when in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you. And we now bring our hearts, our minds, our thoughts, our very intent into that art and practice of healing. Healing is not a gift bestowed upon a few. It is not something that needs endless practice. It is simply the expression of love. That expression which is inherent within all of us, because we are all reflections of that divinity which resides. Just by sending out your love, your thoughts, your energies at this time, do make a difference. They may not be in the way that we envisage or want, but rest assured that healing, compassion has been dispensed. There may be a lessening of pain, a lessening of fear. Just trust that in and through this act of healing, you can make a difference to the places and the people where you are now drawn. We'd also invite you during this time, if there is anybody in particular who is in need of that healing balm to surround and uplift them, please just raise your arm. And when I point to you, just simply call out their name, for that is all that is required by the intelligence of Spirit. So enjoy these few moments now of peace, contemplation, reflection, and of opening yourself up to the God of your own understanding. divine and infinite Spirit, we thank you for this time of healing. We know that thought, that compassion, that prayer, that plea that has been sent forth will be listened to and acted on accordingly. Amen. I'd now like to invite Mark for your reading and address today.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lawrence. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. The piece I'd like to read for you this morning, some of you will have probably heard a number of times before, and it's by Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God, and your playing small doesn't benefit the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. And it's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people the permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. And that piece, when Lawrence was speaking at the beginning about the presence of you all being here, that power that is brought together is such an important one. As we stand at the beginning of a new year, it's a year that we ought to embody hope and what we want for our world, not just for ourselves. You know, we think of our New Year's resolutions. Sometimes you may have got to a point now in life where you think, I'm not bothering to make a resolution because by February... February. Well, I'm giving benefit of the doubt. I keep looking at the exercise bike going, that's a really good drying stand. I don't really want to lose my drying stand. But when we look at these things, isn't it interesting how often we want to make changes and how easily those changes suddenly get sidelined by other things going on in our lives? And, you know, I wonder often if that's actually not because the changes aren't worthy, that we don't wish those changes, that we don't want those changes, but maybe we feel that we have to do those things alone. These are only things I can do. These are only things that I can sort out. And we isolate ourselves from the help and the support of other people. How when we come here into this space, do you notice the change in how you feel when you come, yes? You feel lifted, you feel supported, whatever was maybe weighing you down before you came through the doors or before you switched on online suddenly is lifted somehow. And you may not be able to express how or why it has happened, whether it's a particular part of the service or seeing people that you know and love, but suddenly you are lifted. Suddenly you are becoming transformed by being with people of a like mind, by being in the energy of other people. How then, when we sit and give out that healing, how much we know it helps. But do we realise how far and how far-reaching that power truly is? You see, we sit here and we know we can send out thoughts of healing for people, whatever their need may be, whatever their pathway is. And we feel within us, don't we, that it helps, yes? Yes. But what if we were to start focusing that same power to the transformation of other things? There was a study that was done back in 1993, 30 years ago, so we're not talking about something new. And a group of transcendental meditation practitioners decided to run an experiment in Washington. And they said that they were going to sit and meditate every day for peace within the capital city and ask for peace to reign. And they took to the mayor and the police commissioner that they were going to do this and that there would be a significant drop in crime, violent crime in the city. And they said, we reckon that we could bring the crime rate down by at least 20%. And the police commissioner laughed and said, the only thing that will bring our crime rate down is 20 inches of deep snow where no one can get out into the world and into the city. And he laughed and he joked about it. Anyway, the TM movement decided to start this project, and within 2 months, the crime rate had dropped by 23.33% of violent crime. The minute the experiment was over, it started to creep back up again. Now that was 30 years ago, and there is a called the World Peace Group, which is an online group which looks at sharing the idea of peace with the world. So when we're thinking about our healing practice, when we're thinking about sending healing, we can expand what it is we're looking to reach for to heal. Because our world, the people in our world are suffering. It is part of life. We can't dissociate from that. Everybody is going to go through the pains in the body at some point in their life. Everybody is going to have heartache at some point in their life. All of us are going to experience grief, regardless of our belief. People often feel that spiritualism is going to stop you from having to grieve. And it doesn't. What it makes us realise is that our loved ones are not lost to us, that we still have that love, but we still have to go through our own personal grief. We all have to. We all have to face our emotions, our humanness, our humanity. We cannot stop that. We cannot avoid that. If we do, it's unhealthy for us to not acknowledge how we feel. You are a feeling being, are you not? We are here to learn to experience all of life, good, bad and indifferent, the wonderful highs and the terrible lows. But when we look at the world, how do we look at it? How do we hold it in our mind? Do we hold it as a place of hope? Do we hold it as a place of beauty and of wonder? So many people that I listen to, that I talk to, you hear people say, oh, it's a terrible world. It's terrible at the moment. It's a wonderful world with a few terrible things that are happening. It's a wonderful world with wonderful people, but there are just a few people who are numpties, who are doing, that's a polite word, it is a Sunday, and we have young ears in the audience as well. But they come in and create seeming chaos. But is it possibility, ladies and gentlemen, that we are, within our understanding, to be the antidote to these things in the world? Is it that we are opening up to our awareness of the power of our own spirit, the power of this light that we share? And is it a coincidence that we're here in this moment, in this time? Are we just unlucky bystanders, or are we wonderful participants in a moment in history where people are in need and we are aware of that need? Can we start to sit, to share our love with other people? In the prayer of St. Francis, it is in giving to all men that we receive. Now, what I find very interesting in this law of love and of power of the Spirit that flows through us and within us is that when we start to share our love with other people, it gets reflected back to us. When we start to show caring, generosity and support to other people, it is reflected back to us. And so it makes me realise when we want to change something within ourselves, we don't have to do that alone. We can ask for the love, the support, the thoughts of other people. How many times do you see people say, I hate asking for healing for myself, but can people please send me healing? You think you should know the very first thing that you should do is ask for healing. Not because it's a selfish act, but because everybody is so willing to give and support you for maybe all that you've done. For the people that you've helped, for the people that you've supported, that people are only too willing to support you back. So when you sit and you send out those thoughts of healing, don't just think of the thoughts of healing for the physical ailments. Think of the changes that people want. Think of people's dreams. Everybody out there has a dream of change for themselves, don't they? Whether they wish to verbalise it or to speak it, they might hide it because they might believe that, if I tell people, people will laugh, or, if I tell people it won't happen. How many times, we blow out the birthday cake, candles, make a wish. What's your wish? Can't tell you or it won't come true. But if you don't let people share in your dream, how often do those dreams only remain a thought and nothing more? When you look at places like this church and many others, it is only through sharing the dream of what's possible that our places of worship survive. If someone only does it on their own, it doesn't last. There has to be community, there has to be others. So to allow other people to start to support you, to come together and be with you. Last year, Lawrence and I were talking a lot, and lots of other mediums, about home circles and when people used to sit together for the spirit world. But do you know what? They don't just have to be home circles for mediumship. What about groups of friends getting together to sit and focus on someone's dreams? To actually sit and voice what it is you want to create, and then have a group of people focus their love and their energy, wishing, praying, bringing that energy through, that you succeed, that you find whatever it is you are searching for, because that power being brought in will have an effect. It can't do anything but have an effect. And maybe sit for each and every person, even if you're doing this online. When you sit, send out thoughts for the success of other people. But knowing that as you're sending those thoughts out to them, someone else is sending those thoughts to you, that your dreams, that your desires can be met. Not just by the spirit world, but by the spirit in the body. Because that's what we are, each and every one of us. That great illuminated power housed in human flesh. So this is something to start. To focus your intention, to focus your desires, and not to think, well, maybe this year, but, it might end up being next year. I've been wishing for this for so long, it's never going to happen. Maybe you just haven't sought the support to make it so. Maybe you haven't been brave enough to tell the world the dreams and the desires you have. Maybe you've kept it to yourself for far too long. You've hidden your light, you've hidden your desire, you've hidden your wishes. The more you focus on something, the greater chance it has of manifesting in reality. Turn off the news, because I can guarantee you that's the quickest way to start your day in the worst possible way. Because you hear about all that's wrong in the world. And is that how you want to start a day, thinking that it's wrong? And how terrible the world is, and oh God, here we go again? Or do you want to start the day in a quiet moment of thinking about all the possibilities? Just as Lawrence said, 365 days of possibility. 24 hours, some many minutes, wasn't very good at maths, in a day, but plenty. And what if we start to use that time to focus on the good, to focus on the power of change and transformation for ourselves, for others, for the world itself, rather than thinking how hopeless things are? that very thought disempowers the spirit within us. That very thought separates us from divine power, separates us from each other. We are all one, united by divine power. In the SNU teachings, oh, hello, beep beep. In the SNU teachings, the fatherhood of God, the brotherhood of man. We all come from one source and we are all interconnected, whether you like it or not. Your power makes a difference in the world. Your thoughts make a difference. It ripples out from you. Think of the things that you want. I was listening to a lady called Marcy Shimoff, who's written a book called Happy for No Reason. And I was listening to her the other day, and she said, one of the things we need to realise if we want to create change in our world are three things: intention, attention, and no tension. She said, intention, be clear on what you want to create, not what you don't want. What is it you want in your life, in your world? What is it you want for yourself? What is it you want for the world as a whole? Attention. Keep your attention focused onto that. And when your mind wanders to the negative, as we know our minds do, that little person on our shoulder that goes, nah, you're not good enough, nah, it'll never happen. Just go, well, thank you for sharing, but I'm going to focus back to what I want to focus on. And then no tension, you don't hold on to it with the grim fear of death, of whether it'll happen or not. Because if you truly trust that the power and the energy follows the thought, you don't need to worry what God and the spirit world has in store for you. You know that as you put that thought out there, it is a creative thought, it is a manifesting thought, and that it will come to pass. With all that's going on in the world, ladies and gentlemen, all things will change and it will come to pass. And something else will be there instead. But it's in these moments that we're creating what's ahead. It's in these moments we're creating tomorrow. So don't hold on to the past thinking, oh, well, it's going to be the same. Same stuff, different day. SSDD. There is another version of that, but again, it's a Sunday. SSDD. Different day, different things. Different day, different world. New day, new world. New day, new me. Be the change you want to see. Hold the vision of peace. Hold the vision of hope. Hold the vision of joy in this world. Realise that there are things out there that are not aligned with that. But don't focus on them. Focus on what needs to come, not what you find yourself landed with. And you will find that change slowly and miraculously takes hold. That what you are searching for is already searching for you. What you want to become is already there within you. You just have to start to focus on that power and unite with others. Share your dreams. Ask for help. Ask for the support, not just from the discarnate world, but from the spirit in the body who have come into your life at this time because they can be of help, because they are here to care, to support, to love you. It is no mistake you're sat here this morning. It's no mistake you've stumbled across this online. Because the power of the other world is reaching out to you to say, change is possible. You are the change. You are the co-creator with the divine. But what you need to do is believe it. So I leave those thoughts with you and say good morning and God bless.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mark. And I love the synchronicity of things. Thank you so much. We now go on to our piece of music for the day. During this time, Sue will be taking the collection for the further work of this your church. If you wish to sing along, please do. Just enjoy the music. Absolutely.
of glory, Lord of love. Hearts unfold like flowers before thee, owning to the sun above. Melt the clouds of sin and sadness, drive the dark of doubt away. Giver of immortal gladness, fill us with the light of day. All thy works with joy surround thee, earth and heaven reflect thy rays. Stars and angels sing around thee, center of unbroken praise. Field and forest, vale and mountain, flowery meadow, flashing sea, chanting bird and flowing fountain, call us to rejoice in thee. Thou art giving and forgiving, ever blessing, ever blessed, wellspring of the joy of living, ocean depth of happy rest. Thou the Father, Christ our brother, all who live in love are thine. Teach us how to love each other, lift us to the joy divine. Mortals join the mighty chorus, which the morning stars began. Father, love is reigning o'er us, brother, love binds man to man. Ever singing, march we onward, victors in the midst of strife. Joyful music lifts us onward in the triumph songs of life.
It's lovely when you see Spirit's works just all coming together. The address, the philosophy, the choice of music, totally unrehearsed, but obviously one message for everybody. So how beautiful is that? We now move on to that part of the service we devote to evidential mediumship. I just remind you, do you know what? Each and every message is a tiny miracle. To hear, to be able to commune with somebody that we have lost in the physical. What greater joy than that? What greater thing could we have than that? We've all done it. And we're all united, I know, in this thought. We would give everything just to spend those 5 minutes with somebody we no longer have that contact with. But this is this opportunity. The spirit world is here. We'll work through our medium here today just for that reunification, just for that word of, I'm here and I still love you. This is where I drop the energies, because you know what's coming now. This is a three-way communication, and it does require you to be part of that conversation, does it not?
Yes.
How do we do that?
Yes. No. Maybe.
You know what? Spiritualism is a joy. It is a joy. It's about life. It is about life. And this wonderful time now, we hand over to our beautiful medium today. Yeah, right. Yeah. Ad-libbing.
What do you want?
Tell you later.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as Lawrence said, this is a chance to have that communication, that conversation with the spirit world. It's very important. If something makes sense to you, please say so. If it doesn't make sense, it's my job as the medium to make sure that that message is brought across properly. If something makes sense to you and I'm not going to direct someone, please put your hand up. Don't sit on your hands waiting, saying, oh, I don't know whether I should say or not. It might be someone else's message, not mine. I don't have a 1471 ringback facility. When the demonstration is over, my mind just shuts down to that part of life, that aspect of life. So if there is something that makes sense, then it's important. I'd like to go to the gentleman. You're wearing bling bling hat and your shirt there. I've got a gentleman here. I'm assuming I'm with you here because I know I'm being drawn in that area. And I've got a gentleman, but I know this man before he passed into the spirit world was suffering with his lungs and would have either have had like a form of pneumonia or would have had a collapsing of the lung because of liquid on the lungs. Would you understand that with a grandfather, please? Don't know. Would that be a not sure? Possibly.
Not sure.
Because I feel that I've got a grandfather who's left when you're only little.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I felt with him that it was. I wouldn't have a lot of memories of sitting and talking with him or having this connection with him. I just kind of am aware of him in the back. If I say in the background, there is a quietness with this man. He's not a very verbal man. He's not a very in-your-face sort of personality. Is that how you'd remember and thoughts of one of the granddads, please? Yes. Possibly. That's I like possibly. Possibly is fine. We'll turn it into yes. It's fine. Because I know that as he brings this, he's bringing this quietness and this strength. Okay, and there is a thought within him, and again, this may be known within the family, or you may see it with other members of the family, where there are members of the family who are very loud in their opinions. They can't wait to step in and tell everybody what they think. But Grandad was more the person who would wait until everybody had had their say, and then he would prevail with sense, and he would prevail with strength. You understand this? And he's bringing in this strength to you, because where we've talked about in the address about the changes we want to make, about the strides we want to make forward, there's almost this feeling of wanting to do that with you, that you have his support in moving forward, where you felt unsupported or challenged in the past by family. You would understand that. And he said, so I am here to give you the strength and the counsel that you need, okay, to keep moving forward. He said, it's lovely to ask other people's opinions, but only ask those people who've done it and know that it can be done. Don't ask the people who tell you, oh, I don't think you ought to do that. Why you think, do you understand? Because he's so behind you. And it's like, you know, when we do the, you know, Del Boy and Rodney, this time next year we'll be millionaires, okay? And the poor things. Now, I'm not saying you're going to be a Del Boy or a Rodney here, but it's this desire that is in there for things to be so much better. You understand that? And it's not a pipe dream, okay? I know when your grandfather was here, and you may have to go and look at this, he knew people that ran a shop, and he would regularly go and be in that shop and around those people in that shop, okay? But I feel as if I'm away from this area with him as well, okay? Would you also have family connections that take us to London? Or would you know why he talks about connections to London? You don't. Bear with me 1 second. Because I feel as if I've got to talk about family in London or family connecting to London. Now, we've got a yes from next door.
Daniel goes to London a lot, but it's not to do with family.
Okay, bear with me 1 second. Is this to do with what's being talked about, with going forward, progressing and doing... okay, my mistake. Because I keep feeling as if he was going to London, so he's gone with you then. Okay, he's gone with you. But I know that he feels that you hold this all close to your chest. But I want you to start to shout about it. If nobody knows about it, how is anyone going to know? Okay? Don't be frightened of the potential. Don't be frightened of the... I want you, when we finish, I want you to come up and take the poem that was read. And I want you to read that regularly. Okay? I know also that your grandfather, when he was here, if somebody believed that they could do something, he would always stand behind them, even if he didn't always think it was the right thing. He said, I'll support you in every way. But he knows what is right for you. He knows what you're thinking is right. Okay? And I know that you've sort of sent out thoughts going, tell me if I'm crazy. Tell me if this needs to change. Tell me if I've got to just do something else. Keep going. Okay? Keep going. Is there a ring of your grandfather's that you have? Or do you know that that's been held for you?
There was a ring that my dad used to wear.
Okay.
That
But have you got that?
yes, well, my mum would have it.
Okay. Because I feel that, but there's something to do with your grandfather and a ring as well. So can you talk to Mum about this?
Okay.
Because I feel as if, I know your granddad goes with you everywhere anyway, you know, and although you're only so high and he's gone, he's been around ever since, okay? And there's always been that awareness. You know, there are times when you've doubted, please, your own experience of the spirit world and gone, wishful thinking. Stop doubting what's real. Stop doubting the presence, because you ask for the other world to help, support you, send out your thoughts and your prayers. I know this is more new to you, okay, spiritualism, but I know there's always been those thoughts and prayers that go out and asking. Listen to the answers that come back, okay? Don't let it be a one-way call. Listen and trust with what comes back to you, okay? Anything else? Something to do with... Can't see. Do you sometimes put like tram lines in your hair? Because you've got a hat and I can't see what your hair's like. But your granddad's sort of laughing and saying, well, we'll keep him on the tracks. If they're straight, everything else will be straight. And he's laughing and joking because he would be playful. If you talk to Mum and other people, he would be playful about things, about the way people look, not disrespectfully, but
It's
fun.
funny because he's come through another time as well. But we never even knew each other.
Doesn't matter. He still knows you. He still knows you. And this is the point. Even though we may not have known people when they were here, they still watch over. You're still his. You're still his. You know, and he still cares. Doesn't matter how much. You know, sometimes we touch people for only a breath in our lives, but those people are ever entwined with us as a result. Okay? So just know, because he's a source of strength, quiet strength, forcible strength. He was in the family when he was alive. He still is now in the family, in the spirit world, because he's still alive. He just doesn't have the body. So it's easier for him. Okay? So let me leave his love, his affection.
Does he talk about his children?
I've just got about you. You're the only one that's important in this moment. Okay? Doesn't mean he doesn't love anyone else, so please don't go back and say, Grandad didn't talk about any of you, just me. But he comes because it's the encouragement for you because of what needs to be for you. Okay? Drag the rest of the family to the church one day and then they might have their message, okay? It's important though, because sometimes we want the support for others. He knows about the rest of the family, but he's concerned about you and you going forward. Doesn't mean there's no other concerns, but it's important that it's you. And I don't mean this rudely. Stop thinking about everybody else and start thinking about yourself. Your needs now, okay? Your time, okay? If it doesn't happen now, it'll just keep going. And that's already happened in the past, you understand? It'll be next year, I'll sort it. It'll be next year, I'll sort it. And time goes away so quickly. Don't let it slip away from you. When the opportunity comes, don't have to think twice. If you feel it here and you go, oh my God, then yes. Okay? Then yes. Don't think, oh God, I can't because of someone in the... Because that's happened before. You put it on the shelf because others need more. And okay, it's lovely to support and do, but sometimes there are moments that are divinely gifted to you. Don't miss them. Don't miss them. Okay? So let me leave his love with you. And the love for the rest of the family. But it's your day, okay? It's your day. And that love's got to go round your mum anyway. Okay? That love's got to go round your mum. But you're the important one for him at this moment. And the very fact you say, he keeps coming, but we hardly knew each other. He's trying to build that relationship more with you now. Realise that. You know, you didn't have the relationship. I know people who had terrible relationships with loved ones in their family when they were alive. Since they've died, they've had a better relationship. Not the fact that they've died, but the fact that in the spirit world, they've started to recognise the change in themselves. This is not to do with your granddad, this is just in general. But some people, their relationships become better, and there is a greater closeness and a greater understanding, because the relationship isn't over when they die. It's only just begun. Okay? So I'll leave that with you. And if you talk to your mum, that song, It's Only Just Begun, the Carpenters, should have relevance as well.
Yeah, she loves the Carpenters.
There's a message for your mum then, all right? So your granddad's given her, we've only just begun. So just give that love and say God bless. Right. Okay. That's kind of a Swiss name. Let me just check. You don't know someone by the name of Johannes or Johann? It's kind of a Swiss name. That name doesn't ring any bells to you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically, yeah. That's
Just- Hold the thought of it. But do you understand that, Sue? Johann. That's okay. Let me work with that. But there is something there. I think this is either connecting us back to London again. Okay, think about it. Okay, think about it. Because I keep hearing this being called, and I know that there's a gentleman here in the spirit world. And again, we've stayed on the lungs. Really great. I'm struggling with my lungs, and I'm having everybody come through, and I can't breathe. If I die now, Lawrence will finish the last 10 minutes of demonstration.
God forbid you go home disappointed.
Do you know, I did hear a story of a medium who was in the middle of a demonstration and someone died in the congregation. After they'd wheeled them out into the ambulance, the chairperson went, well, you've got another half hour. I'd have just gone, I'm coming to the person next to you. That person's just come. Anyway, talk about hard working. So, but I've got a gentleman, and I know with this gentleman, I've got obstructions in the lungs here with him. I know that there's a cancer condition that's taken him over into the spirit world, and I know that he's the gentleman calling out Johann. So I don't think Johann is necessarily his name, but he's calling out to that name. Okay? And and I feel I would have heard when this man was having a bad morning right from the first breath in the morning, because I feel as if my lungs have caused me so much trouble here before I've passed to the spirit world. Do you understand that?
Possibly.
Okay. I know that this man should have had breathing support but didn't like it, didn't want it. And I know that this was when he's been hospitalised because of his lungs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
possibly. I'm not overly sure what to know.
Okay. But would you understand about the breathing, and you would hear him coughing continually, you'd hear him not being able to get his breath.
I only know of him.
You only know of him, okay. So these are things that you'll have to go and check, please. You'll have to go and ask about, because I feel as if I had a grandparent who was like that, and actually both my grandfathers had conditions. But it's literally, I would know wherever he was because I could hear him cough, and I'd know. And I know with this gentleman as well then, so this is information you're going to have to pass on to Johann for me. But I know as well that this man would take himself out into like the garden, into country areas here as well, please. Because he would take himself out because he felt, well, the fresh air is going to do me good. It's going to keep my lungs clear. But I know that this gentleman, the weaker he became, the more insistent he was on getting out and trying to do things, because he's saying, I can't just sit in the house. I can't. It's almost like he feels like the house makes him ill, like sitting indoors, not doing anything, not being able to get anywhere is affecting him. If I can get up and I can get out, I can be well, okay? So this should all kind of be known in some ways, this determination. And I kind of feel that Johann has a similar determination about things at times, that, you know, I'm not going to, even if I'm ill, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go and do something, and I'm going to make myself, because otherwise I'm going to sit here and be worse, okay? And I know that as he brings this in as well, he's making me aware there should be with this gentleman, I don't know whether this is a keychain or a watch chain. I know it's like a chatelaine, but I don't see a watch on the end of it. But I'm seeing it. So there must be either a key or a watch that used to have the chatelaine, but I feel that the chain still existed or was kept in the family. Okay? So you need to go and have a look about that. But I know here, as this is being talked about, the chains and the links, there's something here about Johan's family where the links have come apart a bit, as in the family members have separated a bit. And this gentleman is bringing these links and wanting to forge back together and ask of Johan to try and forge the connections again, to try and reconnect again. You understand this? It's not easy, but this man is a family. Everybody has to be together. You're only as strong as the weakest link, and we don't let the weakest ones fall. Okay? I also feel with him as well that there is, although he is not what I would call a traditionally religious man, this gentleman, that there is a great faith within him as well. I'm not going to the church every 5 minutes, but I remember my prayers from when I'm young. And so I remember these things. And I know that where prayers have been heard for the family members, okay? And I know as well when he talks about that, he said, there are times of passing, there are times of things that leave our world, but we know that they're only coming home, okay? They're only coming home to us. But again, it's that fight in between and the struggle in between, okay? What else, darling? Again, you're going to have to ask about this. This isn't this man's, but there is a lady who's coming in who's bringing in needlework, but I have wooden thimbles, not metal ones, wooden ones. And you're going to have to ask about this because I'm seeing almost like, are they trucks, whatever they are, the little baskets that open up a bit. Okay, I don't know what they call them, but the little basket that opens up. And I have all sorts of things to do with materials, knitting, all sorts of different things, crochet bits, all sorts of stuff. And I know that this lady connects in here as well. Okay, and I know that literally, even if we didn't have a lot, you could make something look a lot better by embroidering it. And there are a lot of pictures of clothing that's been embroidered with these little extra flowers and made it look better. Okay, you know, we can't afford better, but we can make it look better. Okay, and I know that as things have been talked about here, you would understand that there has been a conversation within the family round Johan, please, where we've had to look at the idea of what we can afford and what we can't afford that we might like because it's better, but what we have to be sensible with. Okay, because this lady's very frugal. This lady knows how to make everything work longer, and she's bringing in those thoughts and saying it's a time to be sensible, not a time to be lavish. Okay, and you've had that same conversation, and about now, come on, think sensibly. Let's just hedge things. Okay, so they've been in there. They've been having a good old nosy at all the conversations going on, which they always do, which is nice for them to know they're still apart. Would you understand, please? This has come in separately. I believe this must have come from your mum here, please. Would you understand a beaded purse?
Yes.
Because I'm just suddenly being shown, and I'm seeing. Do you know when it's like when people have pieces of clothing that are shedding, and there's bits everywhere, and these tiny little beads, like the little round glass beads, but they're slowly. This poor little purse has become more and more threadbare as the years went on. But it was your mum's favourite. And she's just bringing this in, and she's bringing in her love. She's bringing in her support to you. You know, your mum was a great believer that you'll always have something in your pocket, okay? And your mum was a terrible one for saying, now don't tell your dad, and we'll give you extra, okay? But I know that mum just comes in here and says, you know, you don't need to worry. I know you do, but you don't need to. All right, there's always there. And also, was your mum, please, did your mum used to paint? Because I'm being shown painting. Now, I don't mean house painting, going around and doing walls. I'm seeing, like, painting, but on surfaces of different things.
I can understand that, but it wasn't my mum.
Oh, okay, but you want...
On my mum's side.
Oh, okay. because I'm seeing like someone painting on pots, I'm seeing someone painting on any surface to brighten it, to liven it. And I just get this feeling of bringing this brightness into the home, okay? And I know there's been a thought, doesn't need painting, doesn't need doing, all it needs is brightening, okay? So wherever that comes from in the family, that's been brought in for you now as well, okay? So just know that the Johans family and your family are all kind of coming in there together. Can I ask, please, before I leave you, because I might have left you, would you know if Johans family had connection to the Navy? The Navy?
I don't think so.
Okay, I think, and your family haven't got connections to the Navy during the Second World War?
No.
No. So let me take that back, because I'm just getting connection to the Navy. So let me leave that with their love and pass on the love and the support. But remember what's being said about him needing to reunite members of the family if he can, okay? I'm assuming that... Was there a ship in the Second World War called the Bismarck?
Yes.
There was. Okay, good, because I was just doubting my own mind then. I keep hearing someone talking about the Navy and the Bismarck. And there must be a connection in Second World War with Navy connections here, of it with a gentleman. But I also feel as if I've also got to talk about a lady connected with, was the Wrens, the ladies. But I feel that there's a connection with this lady where I've got to also go on to the ships where there are the planes on the ships as well. So would anyone understand that connection with the Navy in the Second World War, but also with a lady who would have been like a Wren, or who might have had something to do with when the planes went on the ships? Understand some of that? What do you understand?
My mother-in-law was in the Wrens.
Yeah.
And her husband was in the Navy.
Lovely. Okay. And would you understand, was the naval part, did he have anything to do with where there were the planes on the ships as well? Would you know that or not know that? You don't know that. Okay, don't worry. But that feels like it fits because it's the man and the woman coming together, you see. So the Wrens and the naval connection coming together. So, oh, here we go. Excuse me, sorry. Because I keep feeling as if it's the lady that comes in. So this is mum-in-law, you said? Mum-in-law, okay. But I feel that with this lady, there's a great deal of affection for you here. She's quite strong. She's soft and gentle when she needs to be. She had sympathy and she had empathy for people. But there was kind of a bit of a no-nonsense because you just get on and do. And a bit like where we were talking about you don't have to do it on your own. She was the ultimate example of being able to do everything on your own because that's how she was brought up and also the training through the services, the forces. But I know that as she comes in here, she would have been the first person to kind of try and lighten the load for other people, okay? Because I feel that she recognises in people the weaknesses when they need the strength, and she then would lift them physically. And I know she must have looked after someone who was physically ill, and she'd be lifting them in and out of the bed. You understand that? Because there is a real strength. She might not have looked physically strong, but she was. Okay, she was incredibly strong. And I know that as she brings this in here as well, that she's making me aware of the support you bring for other people. And although you can't physically lift people physically up in the bed, but there is that support and seeing that support in others and the need for support. But again, there has been kind of a knocking back of the help being offered, you understand? That you've asked to help and no, and it's almost like they're shutting themselves away. And she's seeing this and she's saying, you know, sometimes, she said, although it won't make you popular, sometimes marching in there and just getting on with it doesn't leave people the option to say no. And that's what she'd do. Sometimes she wouldn't even say, do you need help? She'd come straight in and get on with it. And you'd think, bloody cheek of the woman. But she knew that if she'd have said, can I help you? You'd have said no. So she said, I'm just getting in and doing. And she said, you just got to like it and lump it. All right? And I know that there is that feeling that comes here that we need a little bit of her confidence and her boisterousness. She loved a party. And she loved to celebrate with people. And she's kind of a bit of the what we'd now think of the play hard, work hard era. But she said you've got to celebrate as well as work hard. And it's no use doing one without the other, otherwise what you're doing it for. Okay? And I know that there must be photos to do with, you know, the victory days and things like that that were kept and that were looked at often by her. She often reflected on her wartime years and would show you things and would show you what went on in the places that she had been and the people that she had met, because she had met people high up. And I know that she was very proud of this and said, you know, she said, you know, hard years, but were the making of me. And I know that you've talked to someone recently I feel of a young, if I say of a younger generation, you know, we could be at any age there, but I know there is this feeling of saying this that we're going through now will be the making of you. Okay? And you may not see it now, you may not want to hear it now, and you may not like hearing it now, but know that if you can get through this, you'll get through anything. You understand that? Because it's a conversation that's been had and it wasn't received in the way that you'd hoped. It was received as in, oh, thanks very much. But actually, what you said is right, what you said is true, but they've got to come to believe it. Okay? You and your mother-in-law had a great respect for each other as well as love. Because you got her respect as well. And she didn't just give her respect to other people. She'd love a lot of people, but she respected. Okay. Would you understand as well, please, that her dress buttons were left? Taken off, the lapels and the buttons and things, they were left and kept aside. Okay, because I feel that there was a small photo album with her wartime stuff in, and also other things that she'd kept all aside in what looks like an old first aid tin. Can you have a look into if that's there? Because I just feel as if I want to look at things to remind myself, and I want to have that connection. So again, maybe there's that connection needed there as well, and to reminisce and say, you know, Mum's been through, and here she is. Okay, anything else you want to say, darling? You have to finish. Now I know it's a slight cliche to say I'm hearing Vera Lynn's We'll Meet Again, but your mum used to love, whenever there was that music on, your mum-in-law would put it on, and she'd put it on loud, and she'd be in the kitchen going, come on, and she'd make everyone join in with it, even when we were just having a cup of tea and whatever, because it was so powerful to celebrate and that reuniting, and like Lawrence said about reunification. And I know that there is a lot here, again, like following on from Sue's message there, about the reuniting of people and bringing people back together, and how important it is, and keep going and don't be put off. All right? Anything else you want to say, Dan? Who's Ruby, please? Is this a pet? Is there a dog or a cat, Ruby? Ask the daughter when you chat to the daughter, because I keep hearing Ruby, but you know, it makes me laugh. I'm hearing it as like the voice of the woman in Upstairs, Downstairs. And Ruby, but I know it's not. God, that's aging, isn't it? That's slightly aging. Loads of people going, what the hell's Upstairs, Downstairs? Downton Abbey, the original. When dramas were dramas. But I just get that, but I don't know whether even Upstairs, Downstairs might have even been something that she absolutely loved. I don't know. But I just could hear Ruby, but being said like that. Okay. So go away and have a little thing. There must be connections going back, actually. Sorry, I found where we're going with that. There must be connections in the family going back where there was also being in service at one point. But you're going to have to ask about that. You're going to have to ask about that, because I was just suddenly made aware of the outfit of somebody being a chambermaid at a period of time. It may have been in her younger days, she may have been a chambermaid to her. But, oh, you were. Oh, okay. So you're Ruby. Okay, so there we go. That's all right. If you're Ruby, I'll let you have Ruby. I'll let you have the chambermaid, because I'm just aware of the uniform coming in and she's laughing about it. So, you know, so again, the fun and the memories. All right. So let me leave their love, their affection with you. And ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of both myself and those in the spirit world, I'd like to thank you for your love, your power that make those connections possible. And I say good morning and God bless.
Thank you, Mark. A few notices. Tomorrow night, Monday night, we have our first healing night of the new year. The healing nights now are going fortnightly. We were trying to do it the 1st and the 3rd of the month, and it just went horribly wrong. So it's every other week is Monday night healing night here from 7:15 to receive healing from our church healers. This Wednesday at 7 o'clock we have a demonstration of evidential mediumship, and we have Angie Freeland with us. On Saturday between 11 and 6 we have a day with our Spiritist friends, and there is a medium coming from Brazil whose name I haven't got at the moment. But they will be giving a talk on healing and on magnetic healing, different aspects of healing from the Spiritist point of view. There is a fee of £5 to attend that day, so that's this Saturday between 11 and 6. Saturday night, live online, we have our Lyceum night with Chris Connolly, who is a scientist and will be talking about science and spiritualism. Next Sunday, 11 o'clock, we welcome back David Powell, who is a CSNU certificate holder with the Spiritualist National Union. Wednesday the 18th, we have a evening demonstration of evidential mediumship with Jo Gordon, who is known as the Singing Medium.
She's lovely.
Apparently she's lovely, but she is lovely. I've seen her work, and it's a very interesting way of working. And then on Wednesday the 25th, we have an open circle again at 7 o'clock in the evening. January's format has gone a little bit awry because of existing bookings that we've had. So the newest up-to-date version of January's events is available out in the hall and on the website. But you'll see with Wednesdays, we are switching to a Wednesday evening to present more water with it. A variety of evenings, including awareness nights, where the topic will be spiritualism, talking about facets pertaining to spiritualism. Also, spiritual cafe nights, where we open up the floor a little bit more towards spiritual subjects to be talked about. So, if best source of information is either talk to myself after the service or go onto our website. Before I invite Mark for the opening prayer, closing prayer, yeah, we're going to do it
Start it all over again.
Wasn't good enough. Start again. Start again.
Take two.
No, actually, if you do the closing prayer
And
first,
then you'll do after,
and
yeah.
then
Lovely.
then we'll do Jim.
Careful. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's just close our eyes once more and open our hearts and minds in prayer, love and appreciation. Gracious and divine Spirit, we thank you for this time that we have shared together, and allow us to take this beautiful energy, this beautiful power that has been with us here. Let us use that. Let us transform the world. Let us place our thoughts and intentions behind it for better things in our lives personally, for better things in the world globally. Let us be that source and that instrument for change. Let us be that channel for peace, love and healing, and allow us in every day to look for the good, to find the gratitude for all things, and to recognise this power of the Spirit within each and every person that we meet. We are all searching, we are all on a road of unfoldment, and allow us to be kind and considerate towards others, knowing that wherever they are on their pathway, they have found their way to us in that moment. Let us be the example of kindness. Let us be the invitation of change, and allow us to be the source of love that flows into this world from your heart through to theirs, through ours. So as always, we thank you with joy and gratitude in our heart, and ask that you guard and guide us until we meet again. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mark. Beautiful. We have a gentleman back with us who's been a constant source of hard work and care and devotion from the rest of his family, because he keeps going out and throwing himself everywhere. I'll get your book and glasses.
Oh, you're right.
And his lovely daughter Alison, who has been absolute Star supporting him, and her good friend Christine, who is supporting Alison. So that's all wonderful.
All right.
Thank you.
Now, Jim's a bit of a poet. Just do the one. Jim. Just do one.
First of all, Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year, Jim.
It seems so long, lying in a hospital bed for over 2 weeks. It was then I had this opportunity to write the poem that I've written. I've had to use my imagination, so I hope you can use yours when you hear it. And here it comes.
Use the glasses.
I've called it A Vision of Hope. The Virgin Mary. In a vision, many people she would meet, looking so beautiful with rosaries on her feet. To suddenly appear was a complete surprise, sending love from her heart with such spiritual eyes. She came in a vision so meek and mild, bringing into our world the heavenly Christ child. We know it as the Immaculate Conception. In heaven she was blessed with a spiritual reception. Her vision appeared so many centuries ago. In giving her love it did always show. When Jesus passed away the world was petrified, but Mary now sits in heaven with Jesus by her side. In heaven a mother's love will never be denied. She is in heaven right by her Father's side. Coming from the spirit world she came to those perplexed, to help in our world and to promise others in the next. Her vision is remembered where those places still exist. Healing troubled waters is what God will insist. She came to change our world that God would not deny. Without her spirit and vision, unfortunately our world has let her slip by. God
Lovely.
bless you.
Thank you. Lovely to see you back.
Thank you.
Lovely to see you back. Thank you everybody for attending, both here in the church and also in our virtual church online. Normally I'd say the sun's shining, go out and enjoy it. Somewhere the sun is shining, celebrate that fact. Have a wonderful day and we look forward to meeting up again soon. And thank you and nice to see you back, buddy.
Thank you.
All right.
The vision of hope.
Yes.
And that's what we talked about. Of course you can ask me a question.
Normative.